Amy.
Hi, Shalita, and welcome to this really special Facebook Live, which I was inspired to do after we were connected by a mutual business friend, and it's just on my heart, and it's absolutely my mission as a woman in beauty to be able to support women with all different types of beauty, all different colors of skin, and all different types of hair. And so when I found out about this amazing product line that you have created, I knew that I just had to share it with my audience. So for those of you who don't know Shalita, she is an actress. You've seen her on lots of shows, including NCIS, New Orleans, which I am just starting to watch the very beginning of, which has been really fun for me because now I'm looking out for you. And she is a entrepreneur, a hair care entrepreneur, amongst other things. I think that you're also do you do some singing and dancing? Fill that in for us and share with us your magic, Shalita.
Yes. So yes, I have sang and danced in my career. But yes, so Amy, thank you so much for doing this. I think that it's super important for us women of all hues to really demonstrate that coalition spirit, that we're really in this together. And I'm sure that your audience is in community in some way with women with this texture hair, Afro textured hair, and they are familiar with the struggle and the frustration and the pain and everything that comes with having a hair texture that isn't straight. So this is really awesome of you to do. And I'm gonna jump right in to the share. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my screen big. Okay, so this is the 4Naturals treatment. So when people ask me, what is the 4Naturals treatment? Is it a gel that makes your hair curly? Like, what is it that does this to your hair? Well, it's plants. And for people with Afro textured hair, for Black women, we do want and need more natural hair care, more chemical-free beauty, because so much of what's on offer for us is harmful. It disrupts our hormones and can, has been linked to cancer. So plant-based beauty is really the future, and plant-based beauty that improves our lives is really the goal. And that is what the 4Naturals treatment is. So as this photo says, the before, this is hair that we all know, but this after is just completely improved hair on every level. And it never goes back to what it was before. It only builds. But every business has a beginning, and this is what my beginning is. So you mentioned NCIS. That was the show that spurned the beginning of 4Naturals. So the first photo from January, you see, this was what my hair looked like under my wig. So on that show, I've recorded my founder story, and we're putting it on the website today. So I'm just going to briefly go through this, but if your audience wants to go in depth, you can go to my website and watch the video. So my character's hair was different every episode, but it was the same in that it was a ponytail, but the construction of the ponytail was always the luck of the draw, right? Like, what is it gonna look like today? And so what people didn't know was that I was struggling with my typical African-American hair, in that it wasn't damaged, but it was super fragile. And so in this photo, this was season 3, and I had taken down the wig that I had. So I would braid my hair and hide most of it under a wig, and then I would sew the wig to my hair, and the perimeter of my hairline hair would be used to blend into the wig. Well, when I took it down, I saw the stark difference between the hair that we had been using every day for months and the hair that had been hidden under the wig. And the photo in June was during my hiatus between my 3rd and 4th season. I went to Aveda to get my hair colored. And I used to call my wigs my hair hats because I lived in them. Like I would go to the beach, I would wear my hair hat, and then I would wear a hat over the hair hat for the sun. Like that's how like I lived in those wigs. And so when I go to Aveda, I take my wig down in the back and I see that my hairline hair is now like an inch and a half left. And so this was the photo where I realized I needed to quit my job. And going back, season 4, my boundary was I couldn't let them touch my hair anymore. So I went into this wig, and people talked about this wig on Twitter. I mean, my hair was constantly a thread of dialogue for the fans, but season 4, it hit a fever pitch. It was just like, what the shoe polish? And on set, directors that I had worked with previously would see me and be like, oh, it's you love that? That's going good for you. And I'm like, yeah, it's great. I love it. It's so easy, because I understood that they would never understand the 3 years of every kind of damage that I had suffered up to that point. And so for me, it was about getting off clean, right? Because, the truth was I had typical African-American hair. The New York photos is what my hair looked like under my hair hats on any given day. Super dry. I had these braids going, but my wash days, they were so long. So I wouldn't wash my hair every week even, it'd be like every 2 weeks, because my hair is hidden away. So it doesn't really matter. And when I did try to embrace my natural hair, the San Francisco photo, I 2 days before I took that photo, I spent all day in a hair salon in Los Angeles and $200 getting her to make these curls that I have today, right? But she was making them, and I knew, like, as soon as God breathes on me, I think this is going to go into a fro. And it did, so 2 sleeps later, this was what I was working with. So going to the salon, even for my hair, had no value for me because, my hair was just set on dry fro that was super fragile. So getting off the show, I had to assess all the damage, right? Season 1, I came on with this straight hair and like this wig. And because of the heat damage, I asked to go into curlier hair. Well, season 2, they threw me these extensions, and I wore those for 9 months. I did 1 episode that required 2 weeks of working in the water, in chlorinated water. We shot in swamp water. I took those extensions down. Traction alopecia in the center of my head. And for women, African-American women, traction alopecia it's a bane of existence, right? Because what happens is we have these hairstyles, braids, cornrows, all these things. And eventually our scalps, the tension from pulling on our hairlines or, in the center of our heads, the scalp just releases that attached hair, and we don't grow hair there anymore because of the tension and the dryness of the scalp. All of those things culminate in traction alopecia. And so I went into partial wigs. And then because of the breakage that you saw, I went into that full lace wig. And because I looked and felt horrible, I had to leave my job, and literally millions of people watched. Our ratings, the highest rated episode was 21 million, and it was a crossover episode, but we averaged anywhere from, on the low end, 7 million live viewers to 14 million, and we're still in syndication. So at this point, billions of people have watched this terrible hair crime. And these were some of the real comments. So usually this is the beginning of a villain origin story, right? And then it's like, and then I burned the place down. I never went back. But for me, the reason we're meeting is because we're both healers. Like, we're both committed to healing, So for me, I have this stoic principle on my wrists, amor fati, and it's the belief that everything in life happens for my good. And if it comes with pain, it's a lesson. And so for me, coming down from this high mountain, I was like, no one's coming. That's the first lesson. And the second lesson is, you're going to have to solve this problem yourself. And if you want to continue working, you're going to have to heal. Like, psychically, spiritually, but also physically, so that you can continue doing what you love. And so what people don't know is that my grandmother's owned a hair salon since before I was born. So before I was an actress, I wanted to be the shampoo girl. And so because I knew what we knew about our hair, which was like practically nothing, I switched my focus to cosmetic chemistry and learning as much as I could about hair without this raced lens, right? And so much of our like hair care, black hair care is raced. And it shows up in ways like using chemicals for our hair. And the belief is your hair is so hard, it's so unmanageable, it's so like, it doesn't even respond to water. You need chemicals to like tame that, right? So you call these chemical things like soft and lovely and dark and beautiful, and it just breaks our hair down. And so for me, I wanted to stop that cycle. So I had to go to science. And then I had to go to these like non-white, non-Western hair cultures that were successful. How did I define success? Shine, strength, resiliency, length and growth retention. And so I lit on India, Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Greece. And I created the 4 Naturals treatment. And so what you see here is the result of the 3rd treatment. And we'll talk about the progressive aspect of the treatment. But for me, in these like first 2 photos with my curls, I could not believe how defined, how dropped, how shiny my hair was. And I knew that I had exercised, I slept, like all the things I couldn't do pre-treatment. You saw San Francisco, 2 sleeps, and I was a hard fro. This was like a week. And I had juicy hair and it was unbelievable. And it was all because my hair was juiced up with plants. And then I have high porosity. And, you know, for your salon audience members, this is now a salon treatment. So this is also an opportunity to learn about what this treatment can do for your clientele. Right. And so for me, high porosity, that means that my cuticle is so busted up naturally that if I look at a thermal tool, I have heat damage and it's irreparable. Right. And after the 4 Naturals treatment, I have that true versatility. So in 2019, I created the 4 Naturals treatment. It's patent pending. It's 4 steps. The first step is our patent pending and copyrighted detangling method. Now, moms and salons get a consistent F grade for detangling textured hair. Any textured hair, you are suffering if your mom or a salon is responsible for detangling you. And I wanted to solve that with science, but make it easy for us to do. Make it fast, make it thorough, but more importantly, make it pain-free. The second step is the patent pending henna mud mask, and that is the product that is responsible for why the hair looks the way it does. Those curls are all due to that strong and lovely henna plant. Then we have Acacia, Uvavada, and slippery elm deep conditioner. And the difference between this deep conditioner and any other deep conditioner you're using is that our plant-based ingredients have a high cationic charge, meaning positive charge. Your hair has a negative charge. I learned that in cosmetic chemistry. So you need an opposite charge, opposites attract. And so cassia and slippery elm have a high cationic charge, and they really do like give the hair the shine and the resiliency that it needs. So that's the difference. And then the 4th step is the wash and go. And that's what people are calling this treatment now, the wash and go treatment, because it makes hair that was set on fro, it turns it into wash and go hair, where when you get it wet, you just get curls post-treatment. And so this is a little hair timeline. I did a big chop for my audience. And this is, you know, my life now as an actress. It's totally blew the lid off of what I can do as a Black actress with typically Black hair. I can play so many different characters now, characters that I couldn't play pre-treatment because I was stuck in wigs, and not every Black woman wears a wig. So I wanted to be able to play characters that live different lifestyles and made different hair choices, and now I can. And so that's what the treatment has done for me. It's turned my pre-treatment healthy hair, like that was 2018, feeling really good from all that breakage from before, big hair. But now post-treatment, I got curls. I got big curls, and that's the difference. So I have true versatility. You can watch this later on my website, but this is truly the future of textured hair treatments. Now, that's what the treatment has done for me. But now we're going to go into what the treatment has done for others. So I started this in 2019 as a hair spa. In 2020, the pandemic shut down the salons. And so I pivoted to direct to consumer and then direct B2B, business to business. So now we are working with Ho Salon in Rhode Island, and we are taking more salon clients on. And what you get with the 4 Naturals treatment and, having this in your salon is you get that detangling method. We train your staff on how to properly detangle textured hair. You get an incredible sales plan with our, treatment sets that you're purchasing. But we need to solve your problems. And so let me tell you everything that I know about the salon and the salon problems. Retaining and attracting clients is difficult. Retail doesn't do as well as it used to because your clients can get most of those items on your retail shelf elsewhere and cheaper, right? The lack of staff textured hair training, again, the consistent F grade and detangling is in salons. People are crying in your chairs, and that doesn't feel good, and it also doesn't feel good. And then you have a lack of specialized services for textured and curly hair beyond the relaxer and Brazilian blowout and these treatments that are designed to bump out the hair texture. You don't have anything that will enhance the hair texture, make the hair more manageable over time, something that allows you to over-treat again and again and again, and the hair gets better instead of weaker, right? And then thanks to YouTube, the salon has lost its value. Now the cosmetic chemists are getting on YouTube and they're sharing this information for people with textured hair so that they can help themselves. So when they're going into the salon and they're asking you, well, do you know what hair type I am? Or do you know my hair porosity? When you look at them like they have 3 heads, there's no reason to come back, because we now, Black women, we're on this journey of health and making sure that our hair is working for us and not against us. So if we're not getting our answers from you, we're not showing up, right? And then difficult hair equals difficult customers. When we do venture into your salons for services that you are known for, your coloring, your cutting, when our hair is compromised, you know that the style is not going to come out that great. And that sucks for you as the technician, because you're like, I am the bomb, but I look like I bombed you. And for the client, they're not coming back. So the client retention issue remains. So their difficult hair experience means that they're a difficult customer to please and a difficult customer to retain. And then with everything that's come out about the relaxers and the 5 class action lawsuits against the manufacturers, the question becomes how long will the relaxer even be around? And when will the manufacturers of Brazilian blowouts get sued for their products' connection to, health risks for the people that are getting it? So for your relaxer clients, all they want is manageability. And because we live in the society that we live in, straight hair is just easier to manage. But over time, every relaxer they get, their hair gets weaker. It's harder to grow and improve and thrive relaxed hair because you are damaging it and you're introducing these harmful chemicals to your system. So what are you going to offer? You're going to offer the 4 Naturals treatment. Our ingredients are plants. That's what we're looking for, and that's what we have. It's a treatment that was created by someone who has this typical hair, but this atypical job in that I've had hundreds of people cycle through my hair. I've had people who have touched the heads of Beyonce and Rihanna. And let me tell you, there's nothing up there. There's nothing up there. My hair has remained what it was pre-treatment until I solved the problem. And I solved it with the values of your clientele. So this is a picture of, I did the salon centric trade show at the end of January, and we treated half of our models' hair, and we allow people to see and feel the physical difference between the side that was treated once for an hour and a half on Friday, this photo was taken on a Sunday, and the half that hadn't been treated, and showing them the product performance differences. Both sides of these heads have the same gel in it, but one side, the hair is a fro, it's indiscernible, the strands are going apart, and the other side, it's just juicy curls, and that's the difference. And so these are all the benefits. We're going to talk about henna and color eventually, but these are first treatment results. So your clients can walk in one way and walk out another way, and they'll stay that way. Because the difference with the 4 Naturals treatment, the manageability aspect, is that when you treat the hair, that treatment, because it has a high cationic charge, it's in your hair. So your wash days are a fraction of the time. They're an hour. Your hair gets wet, and when you detangle it, it's set on curls. And so you go on about your life. So no more like all day wash days. It's an hour. And so it's life-changing for people with this hair type. And this is what I mean about the progressive aspect of the treatment. So you have the first treatment, but all of these were taken within the same month. So at the end of the month, the hair is visibly thicker, stronger. The hair is set, it even sits differently after every treatment. And between her treatment days, she enjoyed ease. She enjoyed travel. She enjoyed parties. She enjoyed pool parties. The person at the bottom, between her first and second photo, she went to Hawaii for her 52nd birthday. She swam with the turtles without a swim cap. At 52, for her, being able to walk through Hawaii and pick flowers and put it in her hair, that's a different life. That's a different relationship with herself and with her hair. And so even for our chemically treated friends, she had a Texlax, but she didn't like the way her hair looked. And so she would put these rollers in and she would roll her hair. So you've got this chemical treatment to make your life easier, but now you have to roll and curl your hair every time you go out. But after a 4 Naturals treatment, that's what her curls are set on. It just made that Texlax wave work for her. It defrizzed the hair. It made it shinier. The curl is just much more flattering. And when she's ready to go back to her natural curl, she can eventually whittle away that chemical treatment. And whatever she grows, whatever she treats, it's going to be glorious. And so for our chemical treated friends, right? So this is Amore. She's a cosmetologist and a colorist and a makeup artist. Well, her before photo, she used some pH shampoo, and her pre-treatment life was one of just a cycle of big chops. She would grow her hair out, she would get it colored, and then it would break, and then she would have to chop it off, and it would grow, and she'd color it, because her hair dream is to be this like red hair punk rock goddess, and her hair wasn't allowing her to reach her dreams. But since she started using the 4 Naturals treatment, she gets that now. So these are her more recent photos since using the treatment, and she has true versatility because she can now straighten her hair and get this like long whippable hair when she wants it. And so when we talk about henna and in the hair salon in color, I'm sure a lot of your audience is like, what? No, I know the cosmetology board said the hair will smoke if you introduce color to the hair. Well, that's incomplete information. They're saying that hennas that contain additives with chemical and metallic salts that accelerate the loss zones in the henna, those salts are interacting with the color. But henna lawsonia is a plant. And so this is an even strand lift. She's been treating her hair with the 4 Naturals treatment for 3 years. And the cosmetologist that did this color was shocked because when she told her she had did henna for 3 years, she was expecting a chemical reaction and there wasn't one. And so why is that? It's because an even coating gets an even lift. So this hair is even better to color than pre-treatment hair. So even your heat damage clients, if your clients want to keep their hair and those ends, which are the last thing to curl, are just straight, give them a Pore Naturals treatment. As you can see, the ends are the first thing that curl, and then the curl just creeps up and up and up, and they get that shrinkage again. And between treatments, she can still flat iron her hair if she likes. It'll keep it stressed a little bit longer, but treatment over treatment, her hair just gets better. And during her 3 treatments, she did straighten her hair. But as you see, the curl just keeps getting strong. So you get real versatility. Your clients are able to go to the gym and enjoy their head sweating and know that they're not going to end that sweat session with a hard, stiff, shrunken fro. It's going to be curls because their hair is full of plants, and plants love water, and sweat is salt water. And so your curls will be a little salty, but they'll be curling. And that's all that matters. And so when you ask, like, who else could this work for? Well, it could work for type 3. It can work for type 2. And just to note, your race does not determine your curl pattern. She's from West Africa. Everyone in her family has hair that looks like me. Her whole life, she's had this hair, and she just believes she didn't have a hair type. She didn't have a curl pattern, right? It was just straight, but it was always so matted, like her detangling was really hard. One treatment, we found out she has a type 2 curl. She has a Mariah Carey curl pattern, and she was shocked. No, absolutely not. I am West African. I cannot have Mariah Carey's hair. But Black people across the diaspora, we also span the hair chart. You can have straight hair, you can have type 4 hair, but with the Pore Naturals treatment, it's going to reveal what that is and make it glorious. And then type 1, this woman is Indian, and she used Pore Naturals treatment. That was her before, and that was her after. Like, it does catch light better. The hair looks fuller, it's softer. And even if you're struggling with extreme hair loss, like alopecia, I never say that the Pore Naturals treatment can grow your hair, but what the Pore Naturals treatment does, it works with the attached strands and makes those attached strands work better for you. So if your hair isn't shrinking like that, and it's dropped and it's defined, then you have camouflage for that hair loss, and you have more hair styling options than just covering it up with a wig. And alopecia is already a very difficult thing to struggle with, right? So why not make it easier? Why not make it a softer experience, right? You can do that with plants. And so it's truly a Swiss Army knife solution for our chronic and complex Afro-textured or type 4 hair problems. And here's what it can do for your wash day.
35 minutes to complete.
35 minutes to completely wash and detangle her hair. That's your wash day, because you're no longer treating and styling on the same day. You have your treatment day, and anytime you want to wash your hair, it's a wash day, and it's easy. And so that's the Pore Naturals treatment.
Absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, wow. I mean, there's just so many things that I want to ask you. I wrote some notes, and let's check and see if we have any questions on the live.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Yay.
Yes, my friend Jasmine is here with us. I think she's probably got what do you think, Jasmine? What's your type? Curl type 3, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you still deal with frizz, and you still have to deal with, the Pore Naturals treatment. You're introducing plants, so it just settles the hair, and the hair settles together, so the curls plump. We were doing elasticity tests at the trade show, the licensed cosmetologist, and they're like, it's totally elastic hair. And so no matter what texture, what curl pattern you have, it improves the hair.
So amazing. And one thing I wanted to circle back to, just because of being a white woman and having maybe, yes, a predominantly white audience, though we've got lots of beautiful Black women too. But something that white women probably don't know, and you were sort of saying how the wash and go is 35 minutes. Tell us a little bit more, educate us a little bit more about what the before was like and how long it took, and how, I think that what really strikes me is how much we don't know about what our friends are going through when they don't have a treatment like this.
Yeah. So pre-treatment life is the colloquial term is wash day, because it takes a day to wash your hair. So for you, when you get in the shower, it's a split-second decision about whether or not you're going to shampoo your hair in this wash session. For us, it can be a week and a half of planning of when you're going to get your hair fully wet and cleanse it, right? Because for us, with our hair, you can have, so the cuticle, right? The health of the cuticle is very important. And for a lot of us with textured hair from 3 to 4, your porosity really matters with your styling. So if you're high porosity, that means that your cuticle has a lot of holes in it. It's split, you get split ends, you're prone to split ends. And it's because your cuticle, it's super thin. And so things like flat ironing, you're prone to damage. The hair gets wet immediately, but it gets dry really fast because the cuticle isn't trapping and like really able to retain the moisture. So you get dry, dull, frizzy hair. And then if you're low porosity, that's the phenomenon of seeing the water literally roll off the strand. So our cuticles, a balanced cuticle, is both oil and water. And that oil is what makes the cuticle scale have structure, but the water within it allows it to take in water and water-based products. But when you're low porosity, you have a lot of oil in your cuticle. And so water and oil don't mix. And so the water rolls off before it's able to really penetrate into the hair. And so that hair type is brittle, and it's really prone to breakage because of that, the brittleness of the hair. And so when you have either one of these extremes and you're not balanced, your curls, you don't really get to see, when you see a curl chart, that perfect spiral. No, it's a fro. And our ends want to dive back to the root. So when you detangle the hair, for your curl friends who may not have this textured hair, but they care for someone with this textured hair, you have the experience of,
Yes.
I thought it was detangled and I went back to where I started and it's a matted mess again. And I don't understand. And it's because our ends are so light, and because the strand spirals anyway, it goes to the root. And so it makes managing the hair, even doing a simple ponytail, it can take us over an hour if you have a dense head of hair. And so post-treatment, the experience is your hair gets wet because you're closer to balance. And if you have low porosity hair, the plants make the hair introduces a water soluble element to the cuticle. So the hair gets wet now. And because the henna attracts to other henna strands, you get that curl clumping now. When you're high porosity, you need something to pave over those potholes. So that's what the henna does. It paves over the potholes and it adds this like coating around the strands. And so it again attracts to other strands and it makes these beautiful curls. So your wash days are less complex because pre-treatment, in order to do styling to your hair, you have to treat your hair first. That's what we tell ourselves, right? And it's true. And we have this ritual of like sitting with things on our heads for hours and hours and hours. And the belief is that when you rinse it out, you're going to get this slick feeling. And we never do. So that's why I call it a ritual. But if we don't do this ritual and we go straight to styling our hair in any way, manual manipulation, and that's for a lot of us, we have to manually manipulate our hair in order to even see a curl pattern, to wear our hair curly. Well, it will break if you don't do something before. Well, post-treatment, your treatment days are the henna. And when you want to wash your hair, you just cleanse it and detangle it. So it gives you your life back. You're able to do other things when you wet your hair. And we can have the split decision.
To wash your hair. And that's just really what I wanted to tune in to and really highlight, because this is this is suffering. That's stealing time, the whole hair. I mean, there's so many rabbit holes we can get into around, race, oppression, just, and especially in the beauty industry, which is just rampant. But I also wanted to circle back to it. Really, there's so many similarities between the hair and the skin and the oil and the water balance. And just, this trickles into every area of what you highlighted about YouTube and getting things on the internet. This is something that we're dealing with in the skin industry as well. And then, the scalp is skin, and how traumatic, and from my lens of energy, beauty energy, how traumatic that is for the scalps of every woman, every Black woman, every textured hair woman, every woman from any ethnicity who has this type of textured hair that there isn't a product for, a solution for. It's just, this is what's at stake. This isn't just a long infomercial for, a wonder product. This is the real deal. And I just love that, both of us are sort of pulling back the curtain and looking behind the scenes of what's happening in the beauty industry and what the suffering is like for women that are trying to go about their day, doing their job. And, this, to me, why I was so excited to share, why I have full body tingles, is like, when you give a woman back her time, when you give a woman back her self-image, when you give a woman back her, her enoughness in the mirror, like, that's impacting her job, her family, her husband, her great work in the world. If she can show up and shine and be visible, this is how things can get better. So everybody in my audience, all of us, we are all curl friends, even if we don't have textured hair. I think this is great for anybody who, any white woman with a Black child, any woman who has a Black friend, neighbor, sister, all my Black friends, of course, I want to have try the product. Anybody that is resonating with this, definitely go to Shalita's website. That's fornaturalshair.com.
Fornaturalshair.com. It's plural. For FOUR, the number 4, naturals. It's plural because it's for everyone, and
it's
hair.
For everyone.
Everyone's hair.
And it's everyone's hair. And so I will link that, of course, in the video. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Definitely we'll link to your website. You've got an Instagram, I'm sure, at For Naturals Hair Care.
For Naturals Hair. Yep. For Naturals Hair.
Okay. Hair.
Okay,
awesome.
I just want to say thank you, Amy. And I'm really happy to, have met you, and I'm really touched about your spirit and your mission. So I'm glad to be walking with you.
Me too. And I just know that this video is going to land in the ears and hearts and minds of the people that need it most, and we will stay connected. I'm going to go ahead and end the Facebook Live, but then you and I will stay on a little bit longer. So goodbye, everybody, and definitely check out fornaturalshair.com, and don't hesitate to send me a personal message if I can help connect you with this information a little bit more. All right, bye-bye.
Yay!
Yay! Okay, we'll stop that.